What is going on, guys? Phil here from Phil's Craft Corner. Hope you're all having a great day. I'm doing pretty well. For the past couple of weeks I've been pretty ill, so I've been a bit AWOL, so back to it. Hopefully can keep things rolling again this time. I've got a lot of videos backed up, ready to edit and ready to go, so hopefully for the next couple of weeks or so I can get those rolled out and we can actually get some content onto the channel again. So the past couple of videos I've been talking about the slate coasters, how I coat them and pre-coat them, what settings I use and that kind of stuff. In this video we're talking about the settings I use and pre-editing the pictures to create these two. One of these was created by me for using Photoshop and the way I do it, and the other one was created by imagr and the settings that they have automatically put in for you. So let's get into it. I'll show you how I do it, how we go through imagr, and then show you which one's which. Okay, so we're in Photoshop now, and I'm going to show you the way I process my images before getting to the laser engraving, especially for the slate coasters. So the first thing you want to do is make it black and white. This one's fine, it's already black and white. And to do that, you go to Image, Adjustments, Black and White, or you can press Alt, Shift, Control and B, and then you can change all your different settings here to get different tones in the black and white. We'll just leave it as default because it was already black and white, but you can play with that yourself. The next thing I want to do is to go to my image adjustments and adjust my contrast and the curves. So first I'm going to do curves. I have a laser setting on custom, so if I click that, you'll see that this curve kind of goes this way, and if I come across here, move that out of the way and click preview, you'll see it makes things darker, and so the blacks are darker and the whites are lighter. So that's kind of what you want to have. You can keep it the way it was, but when you get it on the coaster it just looks completely different. It's strange to do, but it works. And then I'm going to go to my brightness and contrast. I'm going to bring this down here. I'm going to play with my contrast until I get the level that I want. As you can see, this triangle at the back and around his eyes is going a bit lighter because there's a bit of white there. So I'm going to take that. I'm going to take that right down. Maybe bring the brightness up about there. Looks okay to me. And then we just need to go to filter, sharpen and unsharp mask. This is going to make things very weird. As you can see there, it brings out all of the black bits very overly sharpened, and it looks terrible. You wouldn't want that as a picture. It's going to look horrible, but this works for laser engraving. So that's already set. These are the settings that I have. I do play with them a little bit just to bring out some more detail. So as you see, when I brought that down, I got a little bit more detail around his neck, and as I bring that up, that goes away. So I will bring that right down, turn the radius up a little bit, about there, and the amount will bring. That's too much, that'll look terrible. Go that 145, 150 area. Yeah, that looks okay. So when I take this preview off, it looks like an okay picture in black and white, and when you put it on, it looks overly exposed and really high sharpened. But this is going to bring out detail in the laser engraving. It's going to look better when it's engraved. So that's this one. I am going to save that now. So when you load up imagr, this is the first page you're going to see. All you need to do when you come to the home screen is just scroll down a little bit, and then you'll have these steps. We go through each step one at a time. I'm skipping crop, resize and add text. I don't need to do those steps, but if you do, then go ahead and use them. So we'll click on upload. I'm going to go with grayscale because we're going on slate, so we don't need colour. And I'm going to click on my Charo image. This is the one I've just done in Photoshop. So Charo, and after a few seconds, here it is loaded. I don't need to crop, resize, or add text, as I said. If you did want to, then you can just click on the crop. You can drag the handles around and crop it in, but I don't need to do that, so we're going to close. Don't need to resize because I'm going to do that in Lightburn, but again, it's a similar process. You just put in what you want on there, and this is the image it comes up with. So this is just basically the same image. It's a little bit darker on this one, and then if I wanted to add text, I'll do that, but again, I'm doing that in Lightburn. Material, you can come down here, you can choose what you want. These are only the default ones that were on there, but I'm going to go on to CO2. The Norton one is for diode lasers, as it says on the top, mostly used for diode lasers. But we're going to go on CO2 because that's what we're using. I'm just going to click on black slate because that's what we're engraving on. Obviously, does all these different settings. So I'm going to click on black slate, click OK, and that is the image processed. This is how the laser will engrave because we want the black bit to be engraved but not the white bit. So yeah, it's already inverted the image for us, so it's going to go across here and do all this. I don't know if it's going to do this outside line. I've not used ImagR for a while, but if it is going to do that, then I'm going to need to change it, which reminds me I need to go into Photoshop and add that step. So to work with it easier, I will invert again, and then we can see the image. This is the default of the image, and you can adjust your levels and brightness and contrast and stuff here. I don't recommend messing with the gamma. That makes it look terrible. I'm going to leave the gamma. I'm just going to do the contrast and the brightness here, mainly contrast. So let me just play with this a little bit. I'm going to go with 5 because you'll see with my Photoshop one that there's more detail around here with the way I've done it, and this looks a bit more uniform across here. Just looks nicer. Brightness, I'm going to play with the brightness a little bit too. I'm going to leave the sharpness. Okay, so that looks alright. I'm kind of happy with that. This is how the laser is going to see it anyway, and these are the bits it's going to process. You can zoom in if you want. Maybe. There we go. And pan around to see how it looks there. But so as you can see, there's a little tiny bit of grey down here. That's what it translates to as on the laser. So it does what's called a dithering effect. So it's little spots that it engraves to create the process. We're going to leave that there. I'm going to click download. I'm going to do it as a JPEG because that's what the other one's saved as, and that should be there now. So let's get into Lightburn. I'm going to see the difference between the two and whether or not it changes the outside of here. Because if it doesn't change the outside of here, I'm going to have to take it into Photoshop and I'm going to have to remove the outside by adding black. Because when the laser sees black, when it's inverted, it just won't engrave that side. So let's see, shall we? Let's get into Lightburn. Okay, so we're in Lightburn now, and side by side, this on the left is the Photoshop one, and the one on the right is the ImagR one. So I'm going to just scale these down to fit. As I said, I'm going to have to go into Photoshop and I'm going to have to edit the background on these, because as you can see it's still white. When I go to engrave, I'll preview this. On the preview, if I click invert so you can see what it's actually going to engrave, it's going to engrave a full white line around the back. We don't want a white line around the back because that's just a waste of time completely. When you're in Photoshop, to add black to the background is quite easy. You just use this smart select tool, the quick select tool, and then just drag around the white area, and it'll just make all of that selected. I'm just going to add a feather of 1 pixel, and then edit, fill, black, and then when I deselect, you see there's a tiny little white line all around the edge. That gives it a bit more definition, especially when you're going close to where the black is here compared to the black there. It just helps define the cat from the coaster. So again, I'm going to do the same on here. Come around, we'll select all that, we'll select that. Feather 1, edit, fill, black. And there we go, we've got the same line around the edge. Alright, so the back in place, and I have got the background put in there now. So when I go to engrave, and I click the invert button, this is kind of the black's what's going to be engraved. If I click show traversal movement, it's not going to go right to the edge anymore, it's not going to go right to the top, which is pretty good. I'm going to get them both engraved on the laser. I'm going to choose 2 slates that are very, very identical in height so that we can make this as fair as possible. So let's go over to laser, let's get these engraved. Alright, there we go guys. So that is how I process my images. As you can see from mine, which is this one, it's a little softer and it's more photorealistic. This one's a bit more cartoony, kind of has a bit more detail in some areas where it's just at the bottom here. I kind of like that a little bit more, and the centre of his head. But overall, I do like my finish. The customer actually likes my finish more as well, because it's more in keeping with the actual photo rather than it being a little bit overexposed and over sharpened. What do you think? Which one do you guys like? Let me know down below. Do you like my version? Do you like the imagr version? Is there a way that you do it that's slightly different? Let me know. I'll give that a go. We'll see how that compares between these two, and we'll go from there. As I've said, this channel is always just about learning and about bringing you guys along for the learning process. How I do things isn't always the best way, but it works for me, and it can work for some of you guys too. If it does work for you guys, brilliant, give me a thumbs up, let me know that these things are doing good. If it doesn't work for you, then I apologise, and hopefully you do find something that does work for you. Maybe another process that I do will work for you in your situation. Obviously, every laser is different, every scenario is different, the slate that you buy is going to be different, so there's many variables on how this can go. Hopefully you guys found this entertaining or useful. If you did, please hit that like button, And if you want to follow along and learn and go through this journey with me, then hit that subscribe button. We're learning every single day, and hopefully you guys learn something with me. So thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next video.